discussion about reducing the DC resistance down to zip, but I take exception to all that talk because I know that in my case I've had copper tubing in I guess a 1 meter diameter type of magnetic loop with the capacitor at the top, and I've been able to get RBN signal reports from Orange County to England and Iceland over the past few decades here on the front lawn of my house here, and no ground plane.
Isn't that handy, though? By the way, the band is a little fluctuating here. You were pretty weak in the beginning. I had trouble copying, and all of a sudden it came up stronger than before. So you were getting up to an S4, very strong. Are you running a lot of power over there, over?
Yes, actually I am. I'm basically testing out a number of the homebrew things here. I'm going to turn the power level just a little bit more. So now I'm about 100 watts more than I was. Right now I'm running about 700 watts PEP, and the power amplifier is a homebrew vacuum tube power amplifier with a single tube. It's grid driven, and I'm using an ICOM IC7000 as a driver. I'm putting in about maybe 5 watts max peak to peak into the grid, and I'm getting, like I said, around 700 watts PEP output. The antenna here is a homebrew delta loop, which is cut for 20 meters. It's an apex down delta loop, and the apex is at about 6 feet or so, just above the fence line. Hope you can hear me okay. Can you tell me how my modulation is, please?
Yeah, the modulation is very clear. Maybe a slight bit of distortion, but nothing serious. It sounds very good, very readable. I don't find it unpleasant at all, but maybe a little overdriven. Anyway, we're just running 100 watts here. I'm recording this, video recording this, because I have to do a presentation at our ham radio club on this particular antenna and some others made with aluminum foil tape as one of the materials we use. So if you would, again, give your name, call sign, and QTH and a signal report so my friends can get an idea of how well this little antenna is putting out, over.
Okay, Denny, very good. So the name here is Alex, America, Lima, Edward, X-ray. I did reduce the bias, or rather I increased the bias a little bit here on the tube, which would show some slight reduction in power level. And so I'd like to have you comment on whether there's any distortion, more or less, in my last QSO contact with you here. And the call letters are America, America 6, Kilo Delta. I'm located in Westminster, California, and it's about 40 or so miles southwest of Los Angeles.
QSL, very good, very good. It sounds like you might be talking a little further away from the microphone. I'm hearing even a little bit of echo in your shack there. What would happen if you were to get up closer to the mic? And I don't know if you're using any processing at all, but you might try and get a little closer to the mic and see how that improves the quality. K5DCC.
Okay, very good. Well, actually, I'm using an ICOM SM-10. It's a combination graphic equalizer and compressor. It came with an ICOM 735 that I bought about 40 years ago. I'm going to reduce the level here just a little bit here. So I've cut it down a bit, and we'll see how that works out for you.
Okay, well, it's just an experiment. That did definitely lower your signal strength here, your audio strength. So you might want to go back to where you were. It sounded okay. It sounded like a little echoey, but I'm not sure what's causing that. But anyway, what was my signal report over there too? As I'm only running 100 watts into this little tiny antenna.
Increased the audio a little bit back to where it was originally, and I'm talking about 3 inches from the actual microphone element. Your readability is 5, and your signal strength, since you increased it to 100 watts, has actually been, quite good. It's, I'd say it's maybe about a 6, bordering on a 7, and your readability has been about 90%. QSL?
QSL, very good. Well, the rig here is a Yaesu FT-891. It's my little portable rig. And I just really enjoy building antennas. In fact, I built one here within the last couple of weeks. It's a ground-mounted 20-meter vertical with 8 radials. And we're on a hill up here with pretty much solid rock after about 4 inches of dirt, if that. I had to drill a hole in the rock, put in a piece of rebar, and my antenna is built out of a couple of steel, I think it would be electrical conduit pipe. I had 2 sections that were 8 foot long, and so I joined them together and trimmed it off the top and got it down to where it's in the 20-meter band, and it's very broad banded. It covers the whole band without anything else necessary. In fact, it even works on 10 meters, on 15 meters, 12, and 17, and that's without any tuner at all. In fact, I am operating lower power on it, 10 watts. When I'm on, 17 meters, I can get it just below 3 to 1. But with the low power, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But anyway, it's really exciting when you can build your own stuff and see how well it works. So I appreciate the conversation with you and for the feedback that you're giving me, and glad to help you out. AA6 Delta Kilo, did I lose you? K5 DCC.
Yeah, Denny. So, yeah, you did. I did lose you there the last maybe 10 seconds of your QSO there, and I got the vertical antenna discussion and also the radials, and so before I started working on this Delta loop, which I have at ground level. I also was working with the vertical, actually made out of aluminum swimming pool extension tubes, which you commonly use and buy at Leslie's pool store, and that was also at about 6 feet. And I only used one radial. Again, for 20 meters, and it worked extremely well.
Oh, that's fun. That's rewarding. Another kind of antenna that I built with aluminum foil tape is called a slot antenna. In fact, if you look on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel called Digicom Cafe. You probably see that if you look me up on QRZ. In that channel, I've got an interview or two with my friend John Portune, and one of them was about slot antennas. Very cheap, very inexpensive antennas to make for VHF and UHF. The one I made was for UHF. I put it on a sheet of plexiglass and I could set it in my window. And the unique thing about slot antennas is, even though the slot itself is horizontal, it radiates vertical. So it's great for doing stuff to repeaters and GMRS and stuff like that. So you might want to look that up on my YouTube channel. Over.
Okay, very good. I certainly will take a look at that. And, I want to verify your call letters. I have Kilo 5 Delta Charlie Charlie. Kilo 5 Delta Charlie Charlie. If you can confirm that, that would be great. I am very familiar with slot antennas. I'm a professional electrical engineer, and I used to work on a variety of aerospace and defense projects, which included satellites and airplanes and other stuff. So yes, I'm very familiar with slot antennas. What's interesting is the slot antennas are used on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner and also the 747 and some other variants, and they've been used for quite some time.
Ah, roger that, roger that. Well, I just turned on the DNR on my 891 here, and that just totally takes out the background noise, no static. It's just pretty amazing. If you turn it up too far, though, it does kind of change the audio a bit, but I don't know if you've got that feature on yours or not, but that sure is neat what they're doing with the filtration on these radios these days. Over.
Okay, yeah, I only got maybe about 20% of that. It looks like the band is changing, and just to confirm, your call letters are Kilo 5 Delta Charlie Charlie. Is that correct?
Roger, roger. Absolutely. K5 Delta Charlie Charlie. The DCC stands for Digicom Cafe.
Okay, very good. Digicom Cafe, got that. Your signal went up just a little bit here, so I heard that about 90%. So that's very interesting about the slot antennas, and also I'm quite intrigued with your implementation of that 2-inch wide aluminum tape. I am very familiar with the platoon documents there. I know they've been here for quite some time, and I've studied them over the years. I'm also very familiar with many of the other I find it very interesting that they keep talking about the efficiency and the DC resistance, and yet in my experience, I've drilled down on the efficiency calculations of small transmitting loop, and it was derived from something in the ARRL manual, which had no basic premises and no basic testing involved. So whenever someone says the efficiency of a small transmitting loop is XX, I have to chuckle because indeed there's no real basis for it. And I have always advocated for actual field strength measurements in the far field for any antenna, and that is the case with the small transmitting loop also.
Roger, roger. And the interesting part of these loops is what it takes to get them to resonance. Now, when I built this loop, what you do is you leave the capacitance tube out, and then I use my VNA to see what frequency is this antenna resonant on all by itself. And I make note of that, and I do a broad scan. I'm going from like 2 megahertz up to 50 megahertz, and I'll just take a look at what it is, where the dip is, and that's where I then kind of focus on it. Then I can adjust that inner loop, change the position until I get the SWR down to the lowest point, and of course then you can put the capacitance tube inside of it, and you can shift that dip up or down to whatever you want to operate in. So, and then on the little sliding one that I put inside, I put some tape on there to indicate the beginning and the end of 10 meters, so I can go right to which portion I want, the lower end, upper end, middle end, whatever. And then I check the SWR on my radio, and it's usually right in the ballpark. So right now, where I'm at, the SWR is literally 1-to-1. Over.
Yeah, very good. So maybe 2 or 3 decades ago, I actually experimented quite extensively with the small loop interface of the small transmitting loop design that I had built up. And you may or may not know this, but I determined that the closer that the inner loop was to the outer loop, if you will, will, the broader band, the broader the resonance was, and the further away the little loop was from the outer loop, the more narrow band it was. And of course, I also experimented with the small loop being 90 degrees off center from the large loop, and of course it acts just like a transformer in that case. And for maximum power, you want to have the small loop as parallel to the outer loop as possible. One of the other things I did experiment with also is feeding the loop with a ballon, and I actually had what's his name, Civic, design a special ballon for my particular use, and that would have been maybe almost 3 decades ago. And so it was just an experiment, and it was a fun thing to do. I didn't find any advantage to using a Civic ballon to broaden the resonance frequency at all, and there was no real advantage from a impedance standpoint of adding a ballon to that.
Roger that. I have no ballon on mine. I do have a meter though on top. I have a little box that I put a meter into, got a diode and such in there, so I can see what kind of radiation's coming off the thing. I used Velcro and stuck it to the support post, and that thing is pegging the meter all the way to the right side. So kind of close to the top, I suppose, where the most current is going. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I find building antennas probably the best education you can get to understand how they really work, don't you? Over?
I do. Actually, antennas is also a very big interest of mine. When you have a chance, you can take a look at my QRZ page, and I've got some delta loop pictures there of a delta loop I had there for quite some time, made out of bamboo, and I think it was 14-gauge wire, regular house wiring. That served me exceptionally well for many years, and then the Santa Anas came down and basically broke one of the bamboo stanchions, if you will. I only expected the bamboo to last maybe 6 months as an experiment, and I think it was up there for quite a few years before the bamboo basically desiccated and basically self-destructed. Also on my QRZ page, you'll see a picture of a circular full-wave 20-meter band loop, single loop antenna. It is circular, and it's made out of half-inch copper tubing. And I sweat soldered the copper tubing elements to that and formed it into a circle, and then mounted it on my 45-foot tower. That lasted less than a year, but it was extremely interesting from the standpoint of being an experiment, and it was a very, very good antenna for the time I had it up there. Eventually, the wind and the vibration broke one of the connections to the electrical antenna mount, and I decided to take that down and then put up a 10-meter 2-element Yagi, again homebrew, which is what I'm using now on the receive. So right now I'm using the 2-element 10-meter Yagi on a 40-foot tower as a receive, and then I'm using the delta loop on transmit for at ground level. QSL?
Yeah, QSL. Well, we've got lots of bamboo here. We've got a huge section in the backyard where we're growing our own bamboo. We use it to feed our goats. And when it dries out, man, that's hardwood. I might be able to do something with that too for antennas. So you're very knowledgeable about antennas. I've been playing with the position of my mag loop. I believe I believe the radiation comes mostly perpendicular to the plane. Is that right?
Yeah, your signal's a little bit weak. So I think you were asking about the small loop inside the circular or any kind of loop, actually, the small transmitting loop. If you turn the small loop perpendicular to the plane of the larger loop, you have basically reduced the coupling quite significantly. So my comment earlier was to make sure that the small coupling loop was exactly planar with, or rather in line with the outer loop. USL?
Yeah, I was just talking about the orientation of the whole antenna. I'm trying to recall now. Is it directional, 90 degrees perpendicular to the plane, or off the sides?
Directional effects in kind of the classic donut shape. Okay, but in the far field, beyond the far field, once the sky wave is generated, then it basically is not that directional. And of course, on 10 meters, that would be the case. At lower frequencies, up to around 10 megahertz or 8 megahertz, your predominant energy is concentrated in the ground wave. So that theta rate field strength is the predominant signal strength. QSL?
Roger that, QSL. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can improve the signal by rotating this antenna until I get it where it is more directional, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And there is a lot of QSB. It's kind of up and down. Sometimes you're like S6, and then you go down to S1 or below the noise level almost. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to lose you. But then you come back up again. So the band's kind of flaky here today, but it's been a good QSO. I thank you so much, Alex, for responding to my call. And it's been fun learning from one another what we're doing. And I'll look you up on QRZ. And if you look me up, you can check me out there on YouTube and see John Portune. I interviewed him for 2 of these episodes, one on the Meg Loop and one on the slot antennas. So you might find them very interesting. And you might want to join my Digicom Cafe Telegram channel. If you're on Telegram, just look for Digicom Cafe and jump in. I'm going to share this video, this recording that I'm doing here with you, with your permission, so others can hear what we're doing with these different antennas we're building. What do you think, Gover?
Sure, go right ahead there, Denny. I'm fine with that. As long as I can help the amateur community, that's a good thing. And the signal here has been up and down. It looks like I am starting to lose you here, and I'm curious to know I assume you're going to have a video. How do I view the video?
I'm going to share it in my Digicom Cafe Telegram channel. If you go to t.me/Digicom Cafe, and you'll see the wording there on my QRZ page. And there's also a link to it there in my QRZ page if you want to do that. But I'm going to share it there first. I might share it in my Ham Radio Club channel. And I might even put it on YouTube. What do you think?
Sure. That would be very interesting. Yeah, I'll check your QRZ page here, and I'll follow the link because it's usually easier that way for me. I don't have a Telegram account, so the QRZ link is probably the best for me at this point. Okay, I'm curious, when might you upload the video?
I'll do it within the hour here. As soon as I'm done with you, I'll tune around a little bit here and see what else I can scrounge up. But I'll take it inside, and I'm recording this on my phone. So I'll go ahead and upload that to my Telegram first and then get it up on YouTube. And hopefully that'll be inspirational to some other hams out there. Thank you, Alex, so much for the fine QSO. 73, God bless. Have a wonderful week. And we'll catch you another time, I hope. Alpha Alpha 6 Delta Kilo K5 DCC.
Okay, Jenny, very good. By the way, the call sign is America 6 Kilo Delta. America 6 Kilo Delta. And I'll be looking forward to the QRZ page link and the YouTube here in the next day or so. It's been very enjoyable chatting with you about antennas and sharing some of my experience with you here, and also vice versa. I learned something new today, and that was that the 2-inch wide aluminum tape works well, and in a small transmitting loop configuration, and that's a good thing. So I appreciate your comeback. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Here is America 6 Kilo Delta, clear on 73s with King 5 Delta Charlie. Take care.
All right, Alex, thanks. And by the way, you wouldn't want to run your kind of power on this kind of antenna. You'll melt the PVC. 73, K5 DCC clear. There you go.